So I did the ancestor DNA test because I want to know how Irish I really was. And it's fun if you've done it. They send you a little kit. It's got a test tube in it, and you're supposed to spit into the test tube. I jerked off in it because I wanted the exact, precise... I get the results back. It turns out I'm 99% Irish, which is way too Irish. A little bit is charming. 99% feels kind of racist. It feels like, what's with nobody in the history of this family having sex with any other type of person? Especially when you're Irish. Like, which of the traits we're trying to protect here? Which of our characteristics is so magic we don't want to water it down? Is it the pasty white skin you can see veins through? Orange pubic hair? Freckles that turn to cancer by 30? Rage? Alcoholism? Somebody fuck a black guy. Give us a shot. We got the Irish here tonight. Any Irish? Yeah, we got a few. What's your last name, sir? Kojer. Which is, not Irish, that's Polish, I think. Is it Polish? It is, right? I nailed it. Unlike you, who didn't nail it when I said, is anyone here Irish? And you said me. And yet you're Polish. Thus reinforcing a stereotype about the Polish. Now, did you do the ancestor DNA test? You did. And any surprises? No surprises. English and Irish. And fucking Polish. Remember? Remember from 12 seconds ago? Yeah. Okay. Sounds more like you did the 22andMe test. And now I don't do any of it. Now I don't do any of it anymore. I'm sober, married, monogamous, took anger management classes, court-ordered, and now everybody just thinks, everybody's always like, wow, you're such a good guy. You seem like such a good guy. And it's like, am I? Am I a good guy? Because the truth is, I want to slam that beer, I want to have sex with you, I want to punch you in the face. That doesn't seem like a good guy. I sound like an asshole. I'm kidding, sir. I don't want to punch you in the face. Hey now. Yeah. I like this couple. You guys are good looking. I like when they put the good looking people right up front, especially when they're happy. You're happy, good looking people. What's worse than good looking people that are sulking around? It's like, get inside. Go inside. You don't come outside with that shit. If you can't be happy, what hope is there for us? Then you see an ugly guy smiling. You're like, what the fuck are you so happy about? You should be angry. You should be pissed off. Looking like that. And so this is me now, and this is the only type of person my kids have ever known because it's been a long time since I drank. And so it's tough because when you have teenagers, you know that they get to a certain age and they start to think that they're cool and that you're not, which is a phenomenon because you raised them. You've known them their whole lives, and you know they're not cool at all. And you know that you are, and yet you gotta listen to them like, oh, Dad, you're so out of it. Dad, you don't get it. Dad, you don't know how to download. It's like, hey, you don't know me, motherfucker. You don't know who I was. I used to be very cool. You know when I stopped being cool? When you two assholes were born. Before that, very cool. Way cooler than you will ever be. You know why you won't be as cool as I was? Because you're not being raised by an abusive, alcoholic parent. That's why. And that can change. You're not cool. What are you, 14? When I was 14, I was high at dinner. Every night. Look at you. You're not even high. I was baked out of my mind, laughing. Look at you all clear-eyed, normal. I used to get in a fist fight every day after school. You wear a helmet to ride a bicycle. Pussy. When I was a kid, only the really good athletes got trophies. Now they're handing them out to the white kids, too. You don't know. You want to tell them all the crazy shit you've done, but you can't. You got to protect your image. You want to sit them down and go, guess what your dad did in college? He had a 3-way. That's right, with 2 other guys. Or whatever. This chick was supposed to show up. She was running late. We figured, let's just get it started. Give her some time. Anyway, she never showed up. Or she might have. Somebody's ringing the buzzer, but we were so far into it at that point, nobody was getting out of that bed. It was Dick City, and I was the mayor. And I'll tell you something. Good guys. Good guys. I think the thing that really bothers me the most is they think that my wife is cool and I'm not. It's like, really? Mommy's cool? She is. Guess who's fucking her? She doesn't look so cool with my dick in her mouth, I'll tell you that much. Mommy looks silly sometimes. Sex with my wife is pretty wild, by the way, because she's 57. I can't believe I'm having sex with a 57-year-old woman. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm 57 too. But I'm still fucking a 57-year-old woman. If you told me when I was 18 years old that I'd be banging a 57-year-old, I would put a gun in my mouth at that moment. And yet I love her. I think she's beautiful and sexy, and we have great sex, but it's existential. It's weird. I love my wife. I remember years ago driving home one day, and I texted her. I said, what time are you going to be home? And she said, 6 o'clock. And then she said, will you pick up some eggs? And I wrote, sure. And then I wrote, what are you wearing? And I got a text back, my cleats and my soccer uniform. And I realized my wife is driving, son is in the passenger seat with the phone. And then I got a text back, why? What are you wearing? And I threw my phone out the window. I burned it. I'm pretty close to my son. My son and I bond. My son and I watched a lot of football together. That's how we got close. That's how a lot of men process emotions. We watch sports. Because the sports are up on the screen safely. That's where the emotions are. You're sitting on the couch. And you can almost like live vicariously through what's happening on that screen. Almost becomes like a metaphor for what's happening with you. Like I remember watching a football game this year, and we're on the couch. I'm like, wow, seems like Russell Wilson's having a hard time lately, huh? And he's like, yeah, I think Russell Wilson is having a hard time lately. I said, well, what do you think is going on with him? He goes, well, honestly, I just feel like the coach is pushing him too hard. He's just on his back all the time, and he just won't let... Well, that's probably because the coach sees how much potential Russell has. And he feels like it's his job to help him reach that full potential. Well, he should back off. It's too much. Well, you know, Russell's a free agent next year, and then I guess he can figure out where he's going to get his own money from. Dad, yes, son? I think Russell Wilson might be gay. All right, let's watch some hockey. Here we go. Here's a sport I can't watch. Baseball makes me want to die. Nothing happens, and it happens slowly. And the players don't care. They finally put a clock on it, but they need more clocks on it. It's the only sport where the players don't charge onto the field. They just take their time. Everything is taking their time. They just kind of meander out. Shoelaces untied. They got a big gulp, smoking a cigarette. And you're like, all right, I guess we're going to start. And they're like, nah, we're going to play catch for about 5 minutes. While you guys wait. We're going to throw some grounders, play a little catch. Matter of fact, we're going to do it every time we switch sides. Catch starts again. So you watch that, And then you're like, all right, I guess now we're finally going to start. No. Now we're going to watch a guy in a magic white circle practice swinging a bat. He's been swinging it since he was this big, but he's like, how's this go again? Like, huh? Like that? True? And then finally he steps up to the plate and you're like, all right, now we're going to go. And after 10 seconds, he's like, time out. I just need a couple more. I haven't quite... This... And then he finally digs in, and now we're going to go. No, we're not. Now the pitcher and the catcher, they got a little game they like to play. Where the pitcher looks at the catcher and he goes, guess which pitch I'm going to throw? No, that's not it. Guess again. No, warmer. No, fuck all these people. Who gives a shit? Keep guessing. Finally, he gets it right. The guy throws the pitch. Batter doesn't swing. Whole thing starts all over again. Bullshit. Get rid of the catcher, get a bucket of balls, and just start whipping balls at the guy. Not next to him. What is that shit? Throw it at him. If you can hit him, he's out. That's the rule. Now he's going to swing at every pitch just to defend himself. And no more resting on each base. Oh, I'm safe on the bag. No, what are you, 7? Keep running. You keep running until you're tackled by a guy from the other team who's carrying the ball. And a bat. Every player should keep a bat in their hand throughout the game. I want to see 18 guys jacked up on steroids, frothing at the mouth, swinging bats at each other. That I would watch every night. Talking about kids, and if you have kids, I would give you some advice that I gleaned from my years, which is you got to treat your home like it's a prison. Every time I walk in the front door, I pick the biggest one, punch him right in the face. After that, everybody else falls into line. It's about respect. Men think about prison a lot. They think that's why there's so many TV shows like Lock Up, because men always fantasize like, could I make it? You guys are all Texans, so you're convinced you'd make it. But you all wouldn't. You wouldn't make it, sir. You wouldn't make it 5 minutes. I doubt you're going to make it through this comedy show. Would you consider yourself a nerd? No? It's just the hair parted to the side, the crew neck. What do you do for work?
Computer engineer.
Computer engineer! There we go. And among computer engineers, would you be considered cool? Yeah, you got a mustache? You got a little mustache going? I didn't see it right away, but in the right light, I can totally see it. Yeah, you're a badass. You got your little cubicle, you got the rebel flag up there. I love this guy. That's what's funny about Texas, is guys all dress, at least you're dressed like a computer programmer. A lot of guys, every guy in Texas wears like the shirt with the snaps on it, and the cowboy hat and the boots, and they go and sit in a cubicle and sell insurance all day. But they got the shirt because the shirt, I've seen it on cops. You guys, when you fight, shirts got to get ripped off right away. That doesn't scare me. When I get in a fight, I take my pants off. Because who wants to fight a guy with no pants? And an erection makes people uncomfortable. But men think about prison. We think about if we'd make it. And I think I personally would make it through prison. Not because I'm tough, because I'm funny. And I would use that gift to get me through some tight spots. I have in the past. I would again. I would roast the guards. I would constantly roast the guards behind their backs. And then I would do maybe some pithy observational comedy about man's alienation and existentialism. And I think that would go really big. And then the biggest, meanest guy in the yard would be like, hey, you! You're funny! I never would have noticed you, but you made me laugh. Come here. Suck my dick. Damn it. Why do I have this gift? So, I have great kids. We were just in Ireland with them this summer. And we walked outside. It was nighttime. If you've ever been in Ireland, the sky is just jet black, and the stars just pop. It's unbelievable. And we walk outside. My daughter, who's 20 years old, we walk outside. She looks up at the sky, and she goes, oh, my God, they have the Big Dipper here, too. 20 years old, in college. Harvard University. No, she goes to community college, but still, she should know. They should teach that. My son just graduated. He had a degree in communications, which is the study of how to live off your father for the rest of your life. And I called him up before he graduated. I called him up on a Tuesday at like 1 in the afternoon. He picks up the phone, shit-faced. I'm like, why are you drunk on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock? He's like, Dad, because my wine appreciation class is on Tuesday. You're what? What am I paying for? Do you know the shit gigs I have to take to pay for you to go through? I was at the Green Bay Chuckle Hut in January. So you could take a wine class? And the semester before that, he took a class in improvisational comedy. Really? Here's an improv. You're at a job interview, and you got no fucking skills. Go. Fucking drunk. I have him in gay conversion therapy right now. He's not gay, but we're trying to flip him so he can get a job when he graduates. So me and my son went to the beach this summer. I live on Venice Beach. And we're throwing a football, we're riding some waves, and then all of a sudden this girl comes running into the water. She's got on a little bikini, got huge tits. She's like 17. Or like 18 or 19. Now I think about it, she was like 21. At least. She was like at least 21. And she gets in the water, and this wave comes and hits her. Her top flips up, tit pops out, but she didn't notice. I did. I tap my son on the shoulder. I'm like, happy birthday, asshole, look at that. And he sees her, and he just lights up, and then he turns, and he high-fives me. And I remember thinking, this is the closest I've felt to this kid in my entire life. This is the peak of our relationship. I'll be on my deathbed someday, and he'll be holding my hand, and in my last breath, I'll be like, remember that fat tit we saw in Venice Beach? And I'll be off to titty heaven. Because we love it. Accidental nudity. Nothing makes a man happier. A free tit. You bend over, we look down your shirt, we're like, saw it. Didn't take it to dinner, didn't pay $1, saw the tit. That's joy. That's joy on our faces. And I'm sorry, ladies, it's not the same for you. We sit down in a pair of shorts and our dick flops out, you're like, put that fucking thing away. What are you, Harvey Weinstein? I don't want to see that shit. So I had this amazing thing happen. I was in Portland staying at this hotel, and it was like a U-shaped hotel. I'm on the 10th floor on the end, and I walk in the room, I look out the window, and I realize I can see in the window across from me. Lights are on, and there is a beautiful couple having sex on the bed. And I'm just standing there going, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Because they're gorgeous, and they are having some Olympic sex on that bed. She's laying on her back, right at the edge of the bed with her legs up. He's standing in front of her, one foot in front of the other, like a European. He's got style. He's got all kinds of moves. Going in fast, taking it out slow. Going in slow, taking it out fast. A little from the left, a little to the right, drops to one knee, does some oral, stands up, keeps fucking. I'm high-fiving the glass. Go, man! I'm proud of him. But I don't want them to see me, so I just close the curtain, and then I just kind of pop my head through the curtain like I'm a photographer from the 1930s. And then I start thinking, what does this sound like? Because this is hotel sex. This is when you got no neighbors, no kids. You're just like, get on it, motherfucker! And that's me alone, so I can't imagine two people. So here's where it gets creepy. All right, creepier. Here's where it gets creepier. I left the room, not making this up. I left the room, I walked down the hall, all the way around, and I stop outside of room 1015, and I listen. And all I hear is this guy grunting, and then a woman going, oh, Kevin, oh, Kevin. So now I have an erection, so I walk back to the room, And I'm standing there watching them, and they're going at it. I pick up the phone, and I dial 1015. And it's ringing, and they're going at it, and I'm waiting. And all of a sudden, the guy just leans over, picks up the phone. He's like, hello? I'm like, Kevin! Look out the window, man! You can see me jerking off! True story. Yeah, I like it here. This is gun country for sure, and I don't own a gun, and I get shit from my friends that live down here. Like, how come you don't own a gun? Well, I don't want one. Well, what if somebody breaks in at night? Well, then I'll die, I guess. I mean, that's what happens, right? When they get in. You ever wake up and someone's shooting at you? No, not that often. And if they are, they win. They got in. I'll take a bullet like a man. You got in. As opposed to what? I'm going to have my nightstand, and my nightstand's going to have, like, my sleep mask, and my melatonin, and my Al-Anon daily meditations book, and then a Colt 45 sitting on top of that. And at 3 a.m., somebody breaks in, and I just spring out of bed like... Fuck that, I got a nice house. I don't need bullet holes all over my walls. Reminding my kids that Daddy lost the gunfight, and now he's dead. I have depression. So the idea of being shot and killed is not unpleasant to me. I think if I got shot, I'd be like, ow, thank you so much. I couldn't have done that myself. Thank you for doing it. It's just, life is just, I'm done. I'm tired. I know I'm not that old, but I've done the same thing every single day. You ever just get tired of getting out of bed? You're like, I just did this yesterday. I did it every single day. I ate every single day. I walked and I talked and I shat and I wiped it and I talked. I ate more and then I shat again twice. The only time of the day I truly enjoy is when I slide under the covers at night. I put on that sleep mask. I put in my earplugs. I put a pillow over my head. It's like a little mini death. And for 8 hours, 8 glorious, beautiful hours, I don't have the thoughts. The racing thoughts. Anybody else have the racing thoughts? I think about death a lot because it's happening soon for me. My family doesn't live long. Father died at 53. His parents died in their 40s. So I really hope you guys are enjoying the show tonight. Because next year, I might not be here. And you guys will be like, wow, I just saw him. That's the name of this tour, the I Just Saw Him tour. And so at a certain point, I was working on this I write for TV shows, 4 Emmys, and I'm walking down, whatever. And I'm at this job, and I'm walking down the hallway, and I got a sharp pain in my chest, and I'm like, finally. And so I didn't call out for help. I didn't dial 911. I ducked into a dark office, and I sat in the corner on the ground next to the trash can, and I waited to die. That's some dark shit. And after like 5 minutes, I farted and I realized it was a gas bubble. But I learned a lot about myself in that 5 minutes. I thought a lot about my life. I realized that I'm happy. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy where I've gotten in life because my dream was never to be a celebrity. That was never in the cards. For me, it was about, can I get a room full of people to sit down and I can tell jokes, and that's it. And I was able to do that, and I've been doing that for 30 years now. And I don't really want any more. I've crawled my way to the middle. I'm staying right there. The middle, baby. That's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be in life. You don't want to be on the bottom. You don't want to be at the top. The top is too much pressure, right? The middle, baby. That's the sweet spot. Like me, I have famous friends, they can't walk down the street. I can walk down the street. And when I do, about every other day, somebody walks past me and they go like this. That's it. Perfect. Here's how famous I am. About 2 weeks ago, I was at JFK Airport in New York, waiting for my flight, and all of a sudden this guy comes running up to me, kind of a hefty, nerdy-looking dude. He's all out of breath, and he goes, "There you are! Craig Fitzsimmons!" I go, "What do you mean, there I am?" He goes, "I knew you were nearby because I was looking for Wi-Fi on my phone, and under personal hotspots, it listed Greg Fitzsimmons' iPhone. So I knew you were around here. I looked everywhere, and there you are." And I said, "Get the fuck away from me." And I threw out the phone. I burned it. It's 2 phones I've thrown out in one set. It's the kind of money I'm willing to spend on this special. But so I'm not rich, I'm not poor, comfortable. And one of the things I realized in life is that it doesn't matter how much money you have because the greatest thing in life is free. And I'm not talking about love or friendship or any of that bullshit. I'm talking about the orgasm. Anybody can have an orgasm. Rich, poor, there's no advantage. Anybody can have it. And I would even argue that poor people have better orgasms than rich people. Because rich people, good shit's happening all day. You wake up late, somebody else cooks you brunch, you go out on a boat, you do some coke, you take a nap. Probably not in that order. And then you have an orgasm and you go, that was another pleasant thing that happened today. But if you're dirt poor and you wake up at the crack of dawn and take 2 connecting buses to a shit job, followed by a shittier job, you get home at 1 a.m., there's no food in the fridge, there's a relative on the couch, but then you sneak into the bathroom and you rub one out, you're like, yeah! That's a great orgasm. So it's been an interesting couple years for women, good and bad. The good news is, I just read this, they're going to put a woman's face on the $20 bill. They haven't decided who yet, but it's going to be a woman's face. And great news for women. Bad news for the $20 bill. Now it's only going to be worth $16. And that's, I know, should have worked harder. And then, of course, it's time to talk about it. Abortion. You don't have them here anymore. We have them in California, but let's not kid ourselves. It's last call. Get them in. They're going away fast. And the reason why women have lost their right to choose, and I like to talk about it because it should be part of the conversation. There's so much shame about it that it's being taken away. And so women need to own it. You should own it. You should see like minivans. And in the back window, you have the outlines of each kid. And then one of them just has an X through it. Just not a good time written underneath. All right. We'll see if that makes a special or not. We're not sure on that one. So, abortion. Well, Walgreens is no longer going to sell Plan B. They just announced that, the morning after pill. Which, first of all, when did Walgreens become our country's moral compass? Know your customers, Walgreens. If you got a woman first thing in the morning waiting in line, she got on a cocktail dress with the bra hanging out, she got her shoes in her hand, and a bottle of vodka and plastic jug, carton of Parliaments and some Vicodin gripped in her fist. Let's give her the Plan B. I think Plan A is not going so well. Let's go with B on this one. I walked past some Girl Scouts on the street here yesterday with a table out selling cookies. Didn't that used to be like 1 month a year in the spring? Now it's like year-round, everywhere. These little whores, they are in your face selling those dried-out, overpriced shit cookies. And you buy them, right? You buy them. Makes you feel good. You're helping out the girls. And then you're walking back to your car with a big armful of Do-si-dos and Thin Mints. And then a black teenager walks up to you with a box full of Snickers bars. "Excuse me, sir, will you help support my basketball team?" And you're like, "That's a fucking scam. That's bullshit. There's no basketball team." Then you see the Girl Scout getting into her dad's BMW with a fistful of cash. "We fucked him again, Dad! We fucked him again!" Look, don't get me wrong. I would support the Girl Scouts. I really would. But isn't the whole point of scouting that you're going to make things with your own hands? Isn't the idea? There's no little girls making those cookies with their own hands. Well, not American girls. Somewhere there are little girls in a windowless factory making those cookies with their little Chinese hands. And what about the Boy Scouts that don't know when to get out of the business? You know those old ones? What do they call them? Eagle Scouts? They're like 18 years old. They got a mustache. They're still wearing those stupid little shorts and a handkerchief. It's like, dude, grow a dick and join the Marines at this point. You got too big to molest. So I'm at Walgreens and waiting at the pharmacy. Guy in front of me, I overhear him ordering his Viagra from the pharmacist, which is fun to hear. And the fun thing is that Walgreens makes you yell out your phone number in front of the whole line before they give you your drugs. So the guy says his phone number, and I jot it down. And a couple hours later, I texted him, "How's your dick?" And he texted me back, "Who is this?" And I said, "Walgreens pharmacist, just following up." And then he wrote back in all caps, "Leave me alone." But I don't leave him alone. I still text him sometimes. I just had my own brush with erectile dysfunction recently. How many guys? Erectile dysfunction. Just me. Okay, fair enough. $2 billion ad campaign, all directed at me, Greg Fitzsimmons. I'll buy that. The Longhorns, right? The Longhorns, baby. So I'll tell you what happened to me, just in case it happens to one of you studs down the road. I'm having sex with my wife. It's going great. Feeling powerful. And all of a sudden, I start to kind of lose pressure. It was like a tire with a slow leak in it. Just... So I start fucking faster, and it was like... And then it just pops out. Just out. And I panic. I grab the base and I squeeze it. I'm trying to shove it back in again. It's just folding in half. There's no penetration. I get my thumb underneath. I'm trying to shoehorn it back in again. And that's when my wife looks down. She sees me going like this. She looks at me and goes like that. And then I don't know what I was thinking, but I just looked at her and I go, "It's not your fault." She goes, "Who said it was, pussy? You got the limp dick. Nothing wrong with this vagina. 2 C-sections. Nice." No, she doesn't talk like that. She would never say that. So I figured I'll go to the doctor. I go to the doctor, and I'm waiting in the office, and I got to fill out the form. And on the form it goes, "In case of emergency, who should we notify?" And I'm like, "Fucking you! Is there a better doctor? Because you can't handle a checkup? I'll go to that guy." And so I go into the doctor, and I'm at that age now where the doctor puts his finger in my ass, which is weird because it was a dentist. And no, it's weird because, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't have a problem with the doctor doing that. But they always feel like they got to make a joke first before they, like, to lighten the mood. They're going to give me a little humor. Here's the thing. I'm a comedian. Don't tell me a joke. Okay? You don't tell me a joke, and then afterwards, I won't stuff my finger up your ass. How about that? So sure enough, the guy goes, "All right, turn around." I got the gown on. It opens in the back. He goes, "Lean on the table, spread your legs. Pretend like you're getting arrested." I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I turn around. He's wearing a full policeman's uniform. I'm like... So now he puts on a glove. He opens up a bottle of KY jelly, dunks his finger, pulls up a big dripping glop of KY. I'm just looking at the guy like, dude, how tight do you think my asshole is at this point? You could pretty much... That would have gotten you in. So he sticks it in, which I was ready for. But what I wasn't prepared for was this move. He goes like this. And the worst thing was, it felt amazing. There was a tingling sensation that went through my taint, into my balls, and I went from going, "oh," to, "oh." And then I was sad for like 2 days. I was sullen. Any doctors here tonight? Clap if you're a doctor. Right over here in the corner. What type of doctor are you?
I'm a psychologist.
You're a psychologist.
Yeah.
Do we have any doctors here tonight? Are there any actual doctors in the house? Like a doctor. No, I'm kidding. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm sure you've probably helped a lot of people, and that's great. Because here's the thing about being a doctor, and again, no slight on you, but there's different types of doctors. There's different levels of being a doctor, and you can't just be whatever kind of doctor you feel like being. You have to go to medical school, study really hard, and then depending on your grades, you're qualified to be certain types. Like, you don't just graduate and go, I think I'm going to work on brains. And then they look at your report card and they're like, no, we got you down for feet. We're going to do feet, toenails, shit like that. And then if you score lower than that, they're like, yeah, we can't have you working on grown-ups. You got to be a pediatrician for now. Till you get better. And you got to think, when you're on one knee all day with a flashlight in your teeth, pulling people's ass cheeks apart, you got to stop and go, I drank too much senior year. I should have focused. Because now I'm an asshole doctor. But whenever I fly, I always think about the pilot. I always kind of feel bad for pilots because they seem compromised. You know, like my dream was to be a comedian ever since I was a little kid. And I pictured pilots are also the same. Like I'm picturing this pilot, you know, he was a little boy with a tiny plane and he was like... And then he got older and maybe he got a video game where he pretended to be a pilot. And then he got, again, I keep saying he, it easily could have been a female pilot. It just seemed like we were going pretty straight. You know, it seemed like there were no planes behind us honking, so I just assumed, maybe wrongly. And then he finally gets into aviation school and he does his 5,000 hours of training and he gets his wings and now he's floating up above the clouds, heading into the wild blue yonder, followed his dream. And then he's got to stop down to be like, attention passengers, the flight attendant will be coming through the aisle now with the JetBlue Super Saver Mile High Visa. Fill it out today, and if you spend $20,000 in the next 4 days, we'll give you a free 1,000 miles. Spend $1 million in the next hour and a half, we'll give you a companion seat. What the fuck happened to my life? That's it, I'm done. I'm putting this fucker down on the side of that hill. Don't forget, with the credit card, there's a bereavement benefit for a loved one should you die in a fiery death. So I travel, I'm alone a lot. I go to different cities and I just kill time. I just walk. And so I'm walking down the street. I was just in Atlanta last week, walking down the street, lonely. And all of a sudden I look up in a store window and there's a woman and she looks into my eyes and she just starts waving. And I'm looking at her like, and I start waving back. And I'm walking towards her and she's waving and I'm waving and I get closer and I see that she has a rag in her hand and she's cleaning the window. And I was so depressed, I just went and I bought some ice cream and I wiped it all over that fucking window. I'm staying at a hotel here where, you ever walk into your hotel room and you realize there's a second door you didn't ask for, leading to a room you're not allowed into? And you hear noises from that room, and you start imagining that fun shit's happening over there. It's always a better room than your room. And so last night, it's like 3 a.m., I'm laying in bed, and I can hear noises, and I'm just picturing it's like a sorority house, having a topless pillow fight, there's midgets doing blow on a pinball machine, fun shit. So I get out of bed, 3 a.m. I get up, and I have an erection. And I walk over to the door, and I unlock it, and I slowly open the door. And as I do, I see the handle on the other door starts to turn. And now that door slowly opens. And now standing there in front of me is another middle-aged guy with an erection. And we just held each other and we cried. And he's here tonight, and I want to thank you, sir. It means a lot to me. You were there for me. It is weird when you travel the country and the pot laws are different in every state. It's still not a national, it's crazy. And it started with Colorado, and they proved to the rest of us that you can make a boatload of money when you legalize weed. And they had taxes, and people were flying into Colorado just to get high. And then a drug war started with Oregon, because Oregon immediately legalized it also. So people started going to Portland instead. So what did Colorado do? They fought back. They legalized mushrooms, psilocybin. All of a sudden, people are flying back to Denver, drinking a little mushroom tea, staring at a snow-capped mountain, tripping their balls off. Colorado is back. Until about 4 years ago, when Oregon went ahead and legalized everything. Literally, you want to snort coke, drop acid, shoot heroin, you can do any of it. And Colorado was just watching this, and they're like, hey, what the fuck, guys? Baby steps. So now I'm trying to picture Colorado during the next election cycle. You're just going to see the governor come out on a 30-second commercial and be like, want to kill somebody? Colorado. Not just for skiing anymore. I'm at Venice Beach and I'm swimming, and I'm not a great swimmer, so the waves get big and I go, I got to get out of this water. So I start swimming towards the shore. I don't know if this has happened to you, but you swim towards the shore, but suddenly the shore starts getting further away from you, and you realize you're getting sucked out. And so I start to panic, and then I hear over my shoulder, I hear, help! And I'm like, shit, don't turn around. Let him die. Save yourself. So I do turn around, and sure enough, I see a guy out there, shaved head, fat guy, slapping at the water like an asshole. So here's the thing. When I was a teenager, me and my friends all took a life-saving class. And before class every day, we went to Brian Van Horn's house and we got baked. So we sucked at the class. And at the end of the summer, I took the test and I failed the written part of the test. And then the physical part as well. So I failed the whole test. But I learned how to do what they call the cross-chest carry. So I get this guy in the cross-chest, I do a couple of strokes, giant wave comes, knocks us down, we get up, I find him, I get him back in the cross-chest, 3 more strokes, wave hits us. This goes on for like 4 minutes, which does not sound like a long time. It's a fucking long time. I can't breathe anymore. My muscles turn to putty, and I'm like, we're gonna die. And that's just when I reach down and I realize I could just touch my toes to the bottom. So I get behind him and I start pushing him, and the waves are hitting us and I'm pushing him. And finally we get to the point where like the water's like up to here, and I'm like, all right, I think we're gonna make it. And that's when the lifeguard boat comes screaming in. Tan young stud dives off the back, grabs my guy, starts bringing him in towards the shore. All of a sudden there's a crowd of people cheering, they're videotaping. He goes in, I get sucked back into the wave. I'm getting knocked around. It takes me another 5 minutes to get out. I'm walking towards the shore. It's pulling me out, the riptide, and I'm trembling. And I shit myself. In my bathing suit, and I just shook it out. And I got to the shore, and the guy runs up to me. The lifeguard doesn't see me. He's getting a hand job. And the guy goes, you saved my life. He goes, are you okay? And I go, I shit myself. And he turned around and he walked away. So don't be a hero. Don't be a hero. Oh, well, that's nice. A little late, but nice. LA's a drive-in town. You got to try to make it fun. You got to get through it. So I went online recently and I made a bumper sticker. There's a website you can custom make a bumper sticker. So mine says, how's my driving? And then underneath I had them print my actual cell phone number. I slapped it on the back of my car. I got on the 405 South. I started driving like a fucking asshole. And I just waited. And eventually my phone rings. I'm like, how can I help you? Guy says, well, one of your drivers is driving erratically. I said, well, I'm very sorry, sir. And now what kind of car are you driving? And he tells me. So I look all over the highway. I spot him. I pull up right behind him. I start honking the horn. I'm like, you fucking rat. Tattletale. Snitches get stitches. So I'm married now 24 years this past summer. Well, don't clap. 3 different wives, but for a total of 23 years. Cute. No, I'm just kidding. One wife the whole time. I'm very lucky. She's beautiful. She's funny. She's smart. Honestly, I feel like I don't deserve her. And I'm pretty sure she feels that I don't deserve her as well. So be on the same page. That's the key. And she recently, for my birthday, she gave me a card with a coupon in it, a coupon to get a massage. And I've never gotten a massage before, professional massage. And so I was a little nervous, very excited. And so I go to this place. It's a Thai place in Venice. And I walk in, and there's a little tiny Thai lady, and she welcomes me, and then she walks me down the hallway, and she's walking, ding, 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 ding. No, I did in my head, that's what I was hearing. And she walks me into the room, and she goes, okay, take off your clothes, get under the towel. And so she leaves. I get undressed, face down. A few minutes later, door opens, massage starts, and she goes in on the calf deep with the thumbs where it hurts. It's like, why do people pay for this shit? I'm cramping up, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to feel like a pussy. So I'm just laying there like, I got to take it for the USA! And then she works her way up, and she oils up my butt cheek, and she starts doing these deep circles. Deep. To where you start worrying about your hygiene. Like, did I take a dump today? You're like... And then she gets to the bottom of my ass cheek, and she starts working there. And then there was a slight grazing of my ball sack. And now she goes to the other leg, works her way up the other leg, does the ass cheek, inside there, second ball graze. Now you got my attention. And she goes, okay, flip over. So I flip over, I look up. It's not the little tiny lady from before. It's a big lady. Big lady with red lipstick and what appears to be an Adam's apple. The old bait and switch. So now she starts to rub my shins and then my thigh. And then she oils up the inside of my thigh. And she starts to go a little bit higher and a little higher. And I start to feel a little pressure building. And I started to feel like I was not in control of the situation. I felt vulnerable. I felt like at this moment, if this gentleman reached under the towel, I don't know that no was on the tip of my tongue. And we'll never know what happened because the cops raided the place. She runs in the alley. Cop comes into my room and he goes, how much did you pay her? I'm like, I didn't pay her anything. My wife gave me a coupon. I have a coupon. And he goes, get dressed and get out of here. I put on my clothes as fast as I could. I'm walking down the hallway, covered in oil, filled with shame, pretty confused about a couple things. And I open up the door, and there's 2 cruisers with their lights on and a small gathering of people waiting to see what scumbag comes slithering out of the massage place. And I just walk into the sunlight like, I have a coupon. My wife gave me a coupon. So I go home. I tell my wife the whole story. I tell her every detail. And then she just looks at me and she goes, I thought it might be one of those places. Nice, right? Nice. So I've never cheated on her, which I feel pretty good about. Well, you don't have to clap because as I want to. I want to very much, but I never would. I never have. I just feel like I would enjoy it very much, but I won't. But it would be nice. And then I picture, like, what if we're in our 80s someday and we're sitting on the front porch, we're in a couple of rocking chairs, we got lemonade, and we made it. You know, we fucking made it. And then she looks at me and she goes, you know, all those years you were on the road. She's turned into an old Jew. I always knew there was a lot of temptation out there, and I just assumed that maybe once in a while you stepped out and you fooled around a little bit, but it never bothered me. Because you always came home and you treated me like a queen. So I never cared about any of that stuff. And I'd be like, fuck! Why didn't you tell me? I just assumed we were both fucking other people. We still have good sex. We had morning sex this week. That's nice, right? We always like that. Fresh start. Nothing bad happened yet. I get up late, I walk into the kitchen, she's standing there doing some breakfast dishes. She got some ratty-ass boxer shorts, stained tank top, purple gloves pull up to her elbows. I didn't give a shit. I got right in behind her. I got my hands on her hips, and I just start kind of knocking at the back door, just to see if anybody's home. And then out of nowhere, she started pushing back. I'm like, oh, we're gonna fuck. We are fucking in the kitchen in the morning. I was like, hold on, baby. I was just kidding around. You called my bluff. I haven't had my coffee yet. I gotta make some coffee here. I'll make some coffee. You take the gloves off. Now, you know what? Leave them on. Like the gloves. And then you got other times where it's not as spontaneous. Sometimes you have to kind of schedule it. And that can be good. We had that recently. And she had an orgasm, which she does every time. Hey now. That's a very male thing to do, isn't it? Take ownership of your woman's orgasm. Like, yeah, I gave her an orgasm. It's like, no, the truth is she had an orgasm. I was lucky enough to be in the room at the time. So she has it, and then she whispers in my ear. Not sexy, not even gentle. She just goes, you can come now. I'm like, oh, well, thank you, Your Highness. I've been awaiting your instructions. What, are you shitting me? I'm 57. I've been trying to come the whole time. You guys been awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. You're the best.